Hey everyone, and welcome to a deep dive into a name you've probably heard a time or two. Today we're going to be looking at the name Sandra.
Oh, excellent choice.
We found one source that really gets into it.
Oh, wow.
Its origins and cultural impact, and even a little bit of astrology.
Okay.
And this whole thing is tailored just for you.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
if you're a Sandra yourself, or you know a Sandra, or you just love a good name story, you're going to want to stick around for this one.
For sure.
Did you know that there's a connection between the name Sandra and ancient Greece?
I did not.
And a powerful goddess.
Wow.
We're going to get into all that.
I can't wait.
It's amazing how a name can sound so simple but have so many layers of history and meaning.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a little window into our culture and how we connect with each other through these names.
Right off the bat, our source tells us that Sandra is actually a shortened version of Alexandra,
Okay.
which comes from Greek.
Ah,
It means defender or even protector of mankind.
wow. That's pretty powerful.
That's a powerful meaning
Yeah,
to carry around.
absolutely. And it's so interesting how that meaning, like, connects with some of the personality traits that are often associated with the name Sandra.
Oh, yeah.
Like courage, resilience,
Yeah.
a sense of duty.
Oh, for sure.
Makes you think about the Sandras you might know in your own life and if those qualities resonate.
Yeah, totally. My Aunt Sandra is like the glue that holds our family together.
Ah,
She's always there for everyone. Strong, dependable. But the source also said that Sandra really peaked in popularity in the mid-20th century,
oh, interesting.
like in the 40s and 50s.
Okay.
Why do you think that might be?
Well, if we consider like the historical context, you know, the world was just coming out of World War II,
Yeah.
a time when strength and resilience were so highly valued, especially as women were stepping into new roles and taking on new responsibilities.
Yeah.
So perhaps parents were drawn to the inherent strength and that protectiveness that's embedded in the name Sandra.
I hadn't thought about it like that. That's a whole new dimension.
It is.
This is where it gets really interesting.
Right.
Our source traces Sandra all the way back to Greek mythology,
Oh, wow.
linking it to Alexander the Great through its root, Alexandra.
Okay.
But what's even more interesting is that it's also connected to Athena,
Oh, wow.
the Greek goddess of wisdom, courage, and warfare.
Wow. So we're talking about a name that's tied to both a powerful warrior king and a wise, strategic goddess.
Yeah, so there's this duality of strength and wisdom woven right into the name.
It really suggests like a depth to the name that goes beyond just physical strength.
Yeah.
There's intellectual prowess, strategic thinking, the ability to lead and protect with wisdom and courage.
I'm starting to see why Sandra has resonated with people for so long. It's not just a name, it's like a whole concept.
Exactly. And speaking of protection, there's even a connection to Archangel Michael
Oh, wow.
in Christian tradition, you know,
Oh.
further reinforcing that theme of protector.
Wow. It's amazing how a name can absorb meaning from different cultures and religious traditions.
It really is. It's fascinating.
Okay, so let's move past like the historical and mythological and get into what Sandra represents culturally.
Okay.
Our source describes the name as elegant, wise, and strong.
Oh, like that.
And the list of associated traits is pretty impressive.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so we have resilience, kindness, empathy, loyalty, reliability.
Wow.
It just keeps going.
It's remarkable how these cultural associations,
Yay.
you know, they're often formed subconsciously, but they can really shape our perceptions.
Yeah.
Like a name can actually prime us to expect certain qualities in a person.
Oh, for sure.
What jumps out at you from that list?
I think I'm drawn to the combination of strength and compassion.
Yeah.
It suggests that a Sandra can be a force to be reckoned with, but also a deeply caring individual.
That's a great observation. And the source actually expands on that, mentioning a strong sense of justice, patience, and a compassionate nature.
Wow.
Like, it paints a picture of someone who is thoughtful, supportive, and stands up for what's right.
So we're talking about a well-rounded individual,
Yeah.
someone who can navigate the world with both strength and sensitivity.
Exactly.
But this isn't just an English-speaking thing, right?
Sure.
The source points out that Sandra is a global citizen.
Oh, cool.
It pops up all over the place,
I love that.
in different forms across different cultures.
Yeah, like where?
You see it in Italy as Alessandra,
Okay.
in Spain and Latin America as Sandra, and in Russia and Eastern Europe as Alexandra.
Wow, that widespread use really points to like a universal appeal
Yeah,
What do you
totally.
think?
It's like the name itself is on a journey,
Yeah.
crossing borders and carrying its meaning across cultures.
I love that.
And then there's numerology.
Oh, okay.
According to our source, Sandra is linked to the number 6,
Interesting.
which symbolizes harmony, compassion, and responsibility.
And when you think about the core meaning of Sandra, defender of mankind, that numerological connection really starts to make sense.
Yeah.
The number 6 often resonates with nurturing, caring, supportive qualities, all traits that are associated with protection and guardianship.
It's like all these different systems of meaning, language, culture, numerology.
Yeah.
They're all coming together to point towards the same idea, strength balanced with compassion.
It is a fascinating convergence.
Yeah.
And speaking of different systems,
Yeah.
the source even delves into astrology.
Oh, cool.
Now, it's important to note that names aren't directly tied to specific zodiac signs,
Right.
but there are certain attributes or energies associated with the signs.
Yeah.
And it seems like Sandra aligns really well with Cancer and Taurus.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so Cancer is known for its nurturing and protective qualities, mirroring that defender role we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And then you have Taurus,
Yeah.
known for strength, loyalty, and reliability.
Yeah.
Traits that resonate with that steadfastness that's often attributed to Sandra.
Yeah. It's like these astrological associations just add another layer of meaning to the name.
It's like we're building this multi-dimensional portrait of Sandra,
Yeah.
and each piece just contributes to the overall picture.
Totally.
And speaking of adding layers, the source even explores color symbolism,
Ooh.
associating Sandra with shades of blue and green.
I can see that.
Right? Blue represents calmness, stability, wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
all qualities we've already connected to Sandra.
Yeah.
And green symbolizes growth, renewal, and compassion,
Yeah.
highlighting that nurturing side.
It's like those colors capture the essence of the name.
It's a harmonious palette, isn't it?
It is.
It reflects the balance between strength and sensitivity that we've been unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting how colors can evoke such specific feelings
Yeah.
and connect to these abstract concepts.
All right. I think it's time for a little pop culture break.
Ooh, fun.
We can't talk about Sandra without mentioning Sandra Bullock.
Of course. The one and only.
Right.
It's a perfect example of how celebrity associations can shape our perception of names.
Oh, yeah.
Sandra Bullock is known for her versatility and depth as an actress.
Yeah.
She often portrays strong, compassionate characters.
Yeah.
Think about her roles in films like The Blind Side or Gravity.
Yeah. She's definitely added another dimension to the name.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder how other celebrity names might have a similar impact
Oh, that's a good point.
on our perceptions.
Something to think about.
Yeah,
But let's not get too sidetracked here.
right.
Our source also mentioned that the name Sandra appears in literature, music, and art,
Oh, wow.
and often symbolizes grace, mystery, or affection.
It just goes to show how names permeate our cultural landscape.
Yeah.
They become woven into the fabric of our stories and creative expressions.
All right, now let's meet some real-life Sandras
Yes.
who've made their mark on the world.
This is where it gets really exciting. We get to see how those qualities we've been talking about, the strengths, the compassion, the wisdom,
Yeah.
how they actually manifest in individuals who share this name.
Okay, so first up we have the award-winning actress we just mentioned, Sandra Bullock, known for her versatility and the depth she brings to her roles.
She truly embodies that range of emotions and experiences that a name like Sandra can hold.
Next we have a pioneer in the legal world,
Okay.
Sandra Day O'Connor,
Yes.
the first woman to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Wow.
Talk about breaking barriers and paving the way for future generations.
Her story is a testament to the strength, intelligence, and determination that can be associated with the name Sandra.
And let's not forget Sandra Cisneros,
Oh, yes.
the acclaimed author of The House on Mango Street.
Her work has had such a profound impact on American literature and culture.
Yeah, and last but not least,
Okay.
we have Sandra,
Oh.
the award-winning actress known for her work in television and film.
From Grey's Anatomy to Killing Eve, she's just captivated audiences.
Yeah.
With her talent and range.
It's remarkable to see how one name can encompass so much variety and accomplishment.
It really is.
Yeah.
What qualities or accomplishments stand out to you from this list?
I'm struck by the breadth of their achievements.
Yeah.
We have actresses, a Supreme Court justice, a groundbreaking author,
Mm-hmm.
all united by this one name.
Yeah.
It speaks to the potential that lies within each of us,
Absolutely.
regardless of our name.
I think that's a perfect note to end on
I agree.
for this part of our deep dive.
We'll be back with part 2
Yes.
to wrap up our exploration of the amazing name Sandra.
I can't wait.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the name Sandra. It's been so fascinating to unravel all these layers of meaning and significance.
I know. I'm still thinking about those inspiring Sandras we talked about before the break.
Yeah, it's like seeing their accomplishments.
Yeah.
It really brings the name to life.
It does.
And showcases its potential.
Yeah, and they've added to the name's legacy.
Right? Each of their individual stories contributes to the cultural impact and adds new dimensions to how we perceive Sandra today.
Yeah, it's like they've become part of the name's story. Like each accomplishment adds a new chapter.
Exactly. Names aren't static.
Right.
They evolve and are shaped by the individuals who bear them.
But we have to stick to our source material.
Yes. Let's get back to the source.
Right.
We still have more to uncover.
It does a great job of summarizing the significance of Sandra,
It does.
highlighting its Greek origins, the connections to powerful figures of wisdom and protection,
Right.
and its cultural associations with things like empathy, resilience, responsibility.
It's like a beautiful summary of everything we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And it really emphasizes how a name can possess both personal and collective meanings.
Oh, that's interesting.
You know, on an individual level, it shapes our identity and how the world perceives us.
Yeah.
But collectively, it reflects cultural values, historical trends, even shared archetypes.
So it exists on 2 levels, the personal and the universal.
It does.
Wow.
Our source goes on to say that Sandra stands the test of time,
Okay.
bringing a sense of warmth, strength, and grace wherever it's found.
I like that.
That timelessness is something worth considering.
Yeah. Sandra has roots in ancient Greece. It was super popular in the mid-20th century.
Yeah.
And it's still around today,
It is.
which says a lot about the name's appeal and how it transcends generations.
It really does. It's like Sandra is this guardian of its own legacy,
Yeah.
carrying its history and meaning into the future.
This deep dive has really shown how names hold power.
Did you?
You know, they influence how we see ourselves and how others see us.
It's easy to take names for granted,
It is.
but there's so much more than simple labels.
I agree.
They carry history, cultural significance, and they can even evoke emotional responses.
The more we learn about a name,
Yeah,
the more we appreciate it.
it's like unlocking a hidden code, you know? Revealing new layers of meaning and connection.
It makes you wonder how a deeper understanding of someone's name might influence how we interact with them.
That's such a great question. It challenges us to reconsider any assumptions we might make based on names, and it highlights how a deeper understanding can enrich our connections with others.
This deep dive has made me so curious about names
Me too.
in general.
This exploration has really only scratched the surface of onomastics, the
Onomastus.
study of names.
Wow.
It's this vast and fascinating field
Okay.
that examines the history, etymology, and cultural significance of names,
Okay.
as well as their psychological and social impact.
So much to learn.
There's so much more to discover beyond what we've covered today.
Maybe our listeners will start to see names differently
Yeah,
now that they know how much depth each one has.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Each name has its own history, its own legacy,
Yeah.
a tapestry of meaning waiting to be unraveled.
And as we've seen with Sandra, even a name that seems simple
Yeah.
can be full of surprises, connections, and insights.
It's true. This deep dive has been a real journey of discovery.
It has.
I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have.
Me too.
And to our listeners, I encourage you to embrace that curiosity
Yeah.
and keep exploring this fascinating world of names.
You never know. You might even discover something new about your own name.
Exactly. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep those minds curious.
It's crazy to think that a name can have so much history and meaning.
I know, right? It's like we've been on this archaeological dig,
Yeah.
uncovering these layers of Sandra.
And just like an archaeological site, there's always more to discover.
Always more.
You know, we explored the Greek origins, the mythology and cultural connections. We
Yeah.
even talked about numerology and astrology.
Right, but there are so many other paths we could have taken.
Like what?
Well, think about the social psychology of names.
Okay.
Research suggests that names can actually trigger unconscious biases,
Oh, wow.
influencing how we perceive and treat each other.
That's interesting.
And those positive traits we often associate with Sandra,
Yeah.
the strength, kindness, wisdom, those things could actually lead to more favorable first impressions.
Oh, really?
especially in professional settings.
So you're saying that people named Sandra might have like a little advantage
Yeah.
throughout their lives.
It's definitely a possibility, and it really highlights that connection between names and identity
Yeah.
and how people see us.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how powerful names can be.
Me too.
It's more than just a word.
It's a force
Yeah.
that shapes how we experience the world.
And remember what we talked about today is just one name.
Yeah, just Sandra.
Every name out there has its own story,
It's true.
its own journey through history and culture.
So if you're listening and this deep dive made you curious,
Yeah.
there's a whole world of names to explore.
It's a never-ending adventure.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll even discover something new about your own name.
That's a great point.
Keep diving deep, everybody.
Yeah.
And keep those minds curious.